Hello and welcome to today's session on Schwa Effortless Learning. Today's topic is verbs. Yesterday we learned that verbs are the action words and and also the words which denote the state of being or becoming are also called verbs. In that light, we can say that verbs are of two types, finite and non-finite verbs. In finite verbs, we have verbs which need an object to realize its proper meaning. And based on that, we can divide the action verbs into transitives and intransitives. Now, transitives and intransitive verbs, they bring about the concept of object. What is an object? Object is the affected party that gets affected by the action of the verb. And objects are usually nouns and pronouns. Only nouns and pronouns can be objects. Objects are of two types, direct objects and indirect objects. Direct objects are those which get directly affected by the action of the verb, and indirect objects which get indirectly affected. For example, she gave me a bag. The bag has got more direct effect because of the action of giving, and hence bag is the direct object, and me, since I received the bag, I am the indirect object. In intransitive verbs, we also have other than the action verbs, we also have verbs of be verbs. Those are the different forms of be and become. Am, is, are, was, were. All these things are verbs of becoming, be verbs. They are generally called verbs of being. Other than the main verbs, which are the transitives and intransitives, we also have linking verbs, auxiliary verbs, and non-finite verbs. Now, linking verbs. Linking verbs are, as the name suggests, they link the object with the action. Let's talk about auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs because they help the verb to realize its proper meaning. Auxiliary verbs carry tense, and hence auxiliary verbs help the main verb to indicate the time of action. Now, auxiliary verbs can also indicate the mood of action. Based on this fact, auxiliary verbs are of two types, modal verbs and modal auxiliaries, not modal verbs, modal auxiliaries and non-modal auxiliaries. Modal auxiliaries are may, might, can, could, should, ought to, need, all, etc. etc. Now, non-modal verbs are do, have, and different forms of be. Different forms of do, have, and be. Do, did, does, done, have, had, has been, have been. Similarly with be, am, is, are, was, were, all these things. Now, there is sometimes there rises a confusion that the be verb, which can occur as an auxiliary, a linking verb, as well as a verb of being. So, to recognize that what is what, we need to see the context of it. For example, the word I am a teacher. Here, am, I is the subject, and teacher is it is not an object, it's rather a complement. So, I am a teacher. So, here the be verb, the form of be verb am, is rather not really saying the time of the action, because there is no one which is getting affected by an action. There is no object here. So here am is a am is a linking verb. Let's analyze another example. We were together in the school. In here, where is another form of be. So is this be the form of be? What type of verb is it? Is it a verb of being or an auxiliary or a linking verb? So here if we say we were in the school together. So here where is rather talking about the particular situation. So it was the verb of being, right? It is the at that particular situation how the subject, which is the pronoun we, where we, that how this we was behaving in that particular situation in the school. The situation is the school. So here we were together in the school. So here where is a verb of being. And in auxiliary also we have the different forms of be. For example, I am going, you are going, they were going. You should notice one thing here is that different forms of be verb is, were, are, was. All these have something in common, and that is the action verb that follows right after that. So although be can occur, can act as a helping verb or auxiliary verb realizing the tense of the action, or linking verb linking the subject with the complement. Also it can also act as a be verb of being itself, because it shows the how the subject behave in a particular situation, and that is how do not confuse in the form of be. Linking verbs are very interesting. They do not get involved in any sort of action in the sentence or in the phrase, but they perpetuate the action in a very interesting way, that it sort of connects the subject with the complement. We already know what is a complement. Complements are not objects. Complements are the words that complements the subject. Complements the by complements the subject, it means that it sort of completes the relationship between the noun and the verb. Now linking verb connects the subject, which is a noun or a pronoun, and the complement. The few verbs that can act as a linking verb are different forms of be, seem, appear, grow, taste, etc. Let's take an example. I tasted the cake. And another example, the cake tastes good. In I tasted the cake, we can see that the cake is getting affected because of the verbal action taste. So I tasted the cake. Here the verb taste is affecting the object cake, and hence we know that this is an action verb. Taste is an intransitive verb. But the cake tastes good. Good is a complement. It is not a verb. So in this second sentence, the cake tastes good. The word taste is a linking verb. Now there is a bonus point, and that is a causative verb. Causative verbs are the verbs that cause some action, that perpetuates action. It is the root cause of some action to happen. These verbs are called causative verbs because they cause an action. They establish a causative relationship, a causal relationship between the subject and the other parts of the sentence. For example, She let me use her pen. So I used the pen, but I would not have used it without her permission. So that means that she enabled me to use her pen. So the words like let, allow, help, these are causative verbs. Now I'm telling you a very interesting part of the entire verb repertoire, and that is non-finite verbs. Yes, finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs are those verbs which get affected by the tense, time, number, person, etc. But non-finite verbs, they do not get affected by anything. So that is why they are non-finites, and they are also called incomplete verbs. Non-finite verbs do not abide by the time, tense, number, person rule. They can even occur without a subject. But there is a very big limitation. They cannot form a sentence or a phrase of their own. They always need the help of another finite verb to occur in a sentence and make meaning of it. Let's try to understand this with an example. I go to XYZ school. I go to XYZ school. Here go, I go. Go is a finite verb and it is a complete action. Now, it also means that that this action is in present, means at present I go to this XYZ school. If I say I want to go to the XYZ school, does it say anything about the time or tense? No, it doesn't. It barely describes in wish, and hence this to go is a non-finite verb. Now if we see this sentence properly, I want to go. Here to go is the non-finite verb. Can we just say I to go to XYZ school? No. We have to use I want to go or I wish to go, right? So here want or wish is that verb that that completes the meaning of this non-finite verb. Want or wish are those finite verbs that gives meaning to the usage of this non-finite verb, and hence non-finite verbs cannot occur all alone. They need to have the support of a finite verb to realize its proper meaning. The finite verbs are main verbs, auxiliary verbs, linking verbs. Non-finite verbs are of three kinds: participles, infinitives, and gerunds. Infinitives are the verbs that use to structure. So I want to go, I want to eat, I wish to dance. So in this case, in case of infinitives, we always have a finite verb to and then the non-finite verb structure in case of in case of sentences with infinitive verbs. Now gerund and participles, they have something in common. They both have ing in the end. So gerund is like swimming is a good hobby, and in participle we can say I'm swimming. Here in gerund, swimming is a good hobby, swim plus ing, but here the entire word swimming is not really acting as a verb. It is rather acting as a noun, and it is sitting in the subject position. And in case of participle, I am swimming, the word swimming is actually showing the action. So this is the difference between participle and gerund, that although both are ending with ing, but while gerund is used as a noun, a participle is used as a verb. Now participles are of two kinds, present participle and past participle. Don't go by the name that present and past and they are used in present tense and past tense. No. They can be used in present tense, past tense or future time. ING, the words ending with ING are present participle and ED or EN are past participle. For example, I am going, I was going, I will be going. So here we can see that ING can be used in all the three types of tense and time. Similarly with ED or EN. I walked, I have walked, I would have walked. So in all this case also we use past participle in all the three tenses and times. So this much for today. Do like, share, subscribe and comment. Please write what are the other topics we can discuss in the next sessions. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.